Hi Internet! Reiny Brain here, and today I thought I would share with you some things about me, because lately I've just been doing a lot of videos about doing and trying stuff, but I haven't really sat down to do a video telling you guys who I am. So I thought I would do some facts about me. So I thought I would do 10 facts about me, and hopefully you find them interesting. Number 1, I grew up in Central Oregon in Camp Sherman, Redmond, and Sisters. Very small towns, kind of touristy, a lot of nature. Really influenced how I grew up, I think. That and growing up in the 80s, it was kind of there was this big movement of recycling and taking care of the environment, and that, with living really close to nature, I think had a big impact on how I grew up. I love to go outside when weather permits, because if it's too bright, I burn. But if I can go into the forest where there's lots of shady trees, I really like that. I love being by the water. Number 2, I went to 3 different high schools. I went to one in Central Oregon, and I went to 2 different ones up here in Washington, because that just happened to be a time in my life where we were moving around a lot. I went 1 full year in Central Oregon for my freshman year. I had 1 full year in Washington for my, sophomore year? And then my junior and senior years were at another high school. So it was kind of fun, kind of hard to go to different high schools. There were pros and cons about each. One of the downsides about moving in high school, at least for me, was that when we lived in Oregon, it was a requirement to have 1 class of foreign language taken. But when I moved to Washington, that was not a requirement, but I was not aware of that. So I had signed up to take a French class, and I hated the class so much, and because I hated it and I had no passion in learning French, I failed miserably, and it was a waste of my time, and I'm sure my mom was not very happy about that. Anyway, moving on. Number 3. When I was a freshman in high school, I had a dream about becoming a big semi-truck driver. I thought, I'm gonna graduate high school, I'm gonna go to truck driving school, and I'm gonna drive across the country in a big semi-truck, and I thought it was gonna be blue, and it was gonna have a cabin in the back so I could sleep when I was not driving, and I had it all planned out. But then after high school, I realized I didn't want to learn how to drive. Driving was kind of scary, and I lived in an area where I was able to take the bus a lot to anywhere I ever needed to go, so I kind of put off driving. Number 4, I actually did not even get my driver's license until I was 24 years old. And I know that's really old for a lot of people to be getting their driver's license, especially because I know I went to high school with a lot of people that had their driver's license when they were seniors in high school. I just kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and finally I found myself living in California, and there was a really bad bus system, and I could not go anywhere on my own, so I finally had to just learn how to drive. And number 5. I am addicted to buying fabric. I have so much fabric, and some of it I have a plan for, some of it I don't have a plan for. I actually have started 1, 2, 3, 4. I've actually started 4 quilts. I've finished 1 in my life. I've sewn an entire quilt, but right now I have 4 that are started and not finished. Alright, number 6. I can't eat bacon. I can't eat hot dogs. I can't eat pepperoni. I can't eat a lot of lunch meats because they contain sodium nitrite. When I was growing up, my family did not know that I had an allergy, so every so often I would be rushed to the emergency room because I had a pounding migraine that was making me cry. It hurt so bad, and they didn't know what was wrong. I remember going into one specialist and they put those little plastic cup things all over my head with those wires coming out so they could do some kind of brain scan. I think they were checking to see if I had a tumor, but I don't remember if my parents told me that's what they were doing. But I think they were checking to see if I had a tumor. Thankfully I didn't. They finally were able to pinpoint that I have a allergy to sodium nitrite, which is a preservative that they use in a lot of lunch meats and pork products. So there's a lot of stuff I cannot eat because it'll give me a migraine. Number 7, I don't like fruit, especially bananas. I think bananas are the worst thing in the world. They're disgusting, they're gross, they're just, like, they make me cringe when I think about eating them. I just don't like them. But one of the weird things about bananas is that I love banana flavoring. That fake candy banana flavor is really good to me. But a real banana is just gross and I don't like it. Ugh. Number 8, my favorite holiday is Thanksgiving. I have a lot of really good memories of Thanksgivings while growing up. We would usually go to my grandparents' house and the whole family would come together and we'd wake up and spend all morning cooking and talking and enjoying each other's company. Then we'd sit down to have this big meal, and then everyone, after the meal, everyone would kind of split off into their own little groups and they would talk or nap or watch football, and I would usually go upstairs to my grandparents' loft and I would take a nap. And then I would wake up and I'd wander back downstairs and then I'd pick out the leftovers, you know, eat some cold turkey, eat some more stuffing, eat more potatoes. I'd get full again and then I would go upstairs and take another nap and then, you know, recycle, repeat over and over again for the whole day. And the day after Thanksgiving was pretty much the same, eating leftovers, hanging out, and it was just always really enjoyable. So I really like that holiday since I have a lot of fond memories associated with it. Number 9, I love subscription boxes. I have had 7 different subscriptions in the past. You know, all these cost money. So I really had to decide at one point in my life, do I want to spend $20 a month on a box of things that I might like or might not like? And eventually I decided I would rather save my $20 and spend it on something I knew I liked. So that's why I kind of stopped most of the subscriptions, except for BarkBox, because we find we can always use everything they give us every month. So that's why we've kept that one around. Something I really like about the subscription boxes is that when you are subscribed to one, it's kind of like Christmas every month, because you'll get a box every month and you don't necessarily know what's inside of it. So it's kind of a fun adventure to open it and see what the theme is and see what stuff is in there for you. So I really enjoy them. It's kind of like getting a present all the time or once a month. Number 10, I am heavily involved in community theater. I grew up kind of in the backstage of community theater. My dad did a lot of directing and acting when I was growing up, so I would sometimes go to see his shows, or I would meet the other actors in the green room, or I would have little tiny bit parts while I was a kid. I remember acting in my first play when I was about, I think I was 4 years old, and I remember that I really wanted to be able to read my own lines, and so my mom helped me learn how to read so that I could read my lines and she didn't have to read them to me. So theater has definitely influenced my life, because I wouldn't have learned to read as early without theater. So let me know if you like this kind of video and if you have any questions for me, and maybe I'll do more in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye!